That was the sound of my daughter calling daddy, daddy, daddy. Now, when she first started calling like that, I was, elated that the first word that she was learning was the name that was accorded to her father. That's beautiful. But I also found out that she calls everything and every other person daddy at some point or the other, depending on her mood. Now, what it means is that there could be another reason why she is making that, call. There could be another reason she's making that call. And one of the reasons you can think about is she has discovered that is one good way to get attention. That is one good call you can make that someone will listen to you. That is the same way, that behavior of the child. The behavior that says, I know that if I say this word, I will get attention. I know that if I cry this way, I will get attention. I know that if I shout and scream, for those who throw tantrums, I will get attention. Your customer behaves the same way. You behave the same way. You may tell your customer, oh look, I want you to fill this form when you want me to do this and this for you. But the customer has realized that no matter when he fills the form, you maybe take another two or 3 days. But if he's able to give you a phone call, your customer has discovered that if I walk to the office and talk to my friend who works in that office, I'll get a response faster. Your customer will behave in the way that he perceives is the way to get your attention the fastest. That is the way life works. He's not going to do what you say he should do. He's not going to follow the protocol that you recommend for reaching you. The customer is going to do what he knows works. So if you want the customer to behave in a particular way in terms of communicating with you, contacting you, engaging with you, you need to make sure that you are responding with the appropriate measure of urgency and quality when that customer actually approaches you that way. Let's talk about the flip side. Last week we had a session with a few customers now outside of IT. I work in IT, and one of my colleagues began to describe a set of forms, a web page, to the person and says that, oh, this aspect of the form, the table has a primary key. The table has a primary key relationship or a foreign key relationship with this other portion, which is another table. Now, the truth is that in my estimation, the customer we were speaking with had no clue what a primary key was. He had no way of understanding that relationship that goes on in the back. Now, there is another context of this IT issue when troubleshooting a problem. Assuming you are unable to reach a certain web server, and typically most of the time, in many scenarios, IT troubleshooting, particularly in a part of the world, is trial by error. So you suspect that the problem is coming from this area, you make an adjustment in that area, and you tell the customer to try again. I'm sure you've experienced that with your phone, with your laptop. You try again, because the person who is working on the problem, the technician who is working on the problem, is making changes and then expecting you to try again, to connection. Now, he can do that, or he can also tell you, can you do a TNS ping to this server so that I know what the response looks like? Or can you do an NS lookup so that I can know whether you are able to resolve the name to the IP address? Now, when you make such statements, it sounds Greek to you as a customer, especially if you're outside of the walls of IT. So he prefers to make the changes and tell you to try again, over and over again. So that is an aspect of communication. You can either try to break the thing down to the customer how he understands, or you don't even bother trying to explain. Just solve the problem or deliver the service and show the results as they come along. So that's what typically as IT people, sometimes we tend to sound smart by mentioning things that are mysterious to other people. Oh, HTML. You mention transmission control protocol, tabular data stream, and when you're throwing those jargon in your conversations with the customer, it may make you sound smart. It may make you look and sound smart to yourself. But the important thing is to the customer are you communicating? Is the customer understanding what you're saying? Because it is important for the customer to understand what you're saying, for that customer to respond in the way that you desire. Let's give another extreme example. There's a senator called Honorable Patrick in Nigeria. I don't know whether he's still on. I don't think he's still on seat. And he was popular for using high-sounding language. When he does that, people clap, people laugh, because that is the nature of that environment. People are not serious about many things. Now, sorry about that. Now, he makes those statements, talks about those, uses those loud sounding, complicated, complex words, some of which do not exist. To be, in my estimation, I may be wrong, but some of which do not exist, and people are cheering. They are cheering because he sounds smart by saying those things. But the truth is that few people understand in detail what he is trying to say. Your customer in conversation, when you are trying to explain your product, when you're doing a presentation, when you're breaking down the reason for a problem, you need to use language that your customer can understand. The value of that engagement is not in your ability to express your intelligence. The value of the engagement is in your ability to convey to the customer what you are trying to make them understand. The more your customer understands you, the more your customer is rest assured that he is in the right hands. When it comes to internal customers, the person can bear with you because the person has no other option. If, for example, I am in IT and my customer is in another department, marketing, and I keep speaking those jargons, in meetings, the person can bear with me. He can say, oh, he's the smart IT guy, let's just let him be. But if I become an independent IT person and I want to communicate the services, the troubles that I am delivering to the customer, I must do it in such a way that the customer can understand me clearly. And it's a skill. Break down the technological terms to the point where the customer knows what you are saying. Once the customer can pick up what you're saying, once the customer can engage with you at a certain level, he's able to ask his questions, he's able to really know that yes, you know what you are doing. You don't have to sound smart. It's better to sound simple. It is better to sound simple than to sound smart. Thank you for listening. My name is Kenneth Igiri. Check my website out on kennethigiri.com.